What the fuck is up, sports fans? Today, I got you with some internet drama, so you better have your butt plugs in your butts real tight, because I'm gonna hit you with a big one today. It's a massive one. This drama is so much more than the drama with like Keemstar versus H3 Productions and the Pokemon drama combined. This is an actual war. This is like World War II. Maybe even over that. It's crazy. But yeah, in reality, so recently, if you haven't been caught up on the lore, a YouTuber named AJ Rolston and ImBenji have been battling, and now blood, cum, and titties are flying everywhere. Bodies are on the streets, skyscrapers, excuse me, destroyed to the ground, rubble everywhere, debris. It's absolutely terrible, and there's just a lot of destruction. Speaking of AJ, him and I are in the cool, and we actually respect each other now. And he even addressed it in his newest video. That'll actually be in the link at the description below. But to let you guys know, or you might be asking, who is winning this drama? And the person that's winning so far is well, drumroll please. I'm just tapping my desk. AJ, and let me explain why. The reason I'm on AJ's side is because he gave out really good arguments in his videos, both of his videos. I've noticed that Ben has been manipulating his fans, and one of my friends named ISO. He's been really or extremely egocentric. The podcast thing still pisses me off, and he made a response video to AJ, which was also a really big piece of shit. He deleted the response video because apparently people are getting way too stressed out about the situation. I mean, that's a part of it. There are definitely people who are stressed out, but I feel like another reason is that I think he's like lying and deleted the video because he at certain points almost got ratioed, or yeah. Also, it's sort of funny that he's telling his fans to not watch AJ's newest video, but when Bade made his response video, he made all of his fans watch it. What's good is that no one's listening to him, and he has a dislike on his server post, which is kind of funny. He's pretty much implying like, oh, if AJ makes a video, just don't watch it. Don't give him any attention. But come over my video and watch it. No, please don't. Please stop by. Don't watch AJ's video. Just don't. Ben, you sound like a fucking flat earther when it comes to that. Like, for example, do your research, but like not real research. Like, do our research, read our sources, and read our bull crap. That's it's fucking splendid of you, Ben. I also don't even think he saw AJ's new video because I have a part where I talked about the podcast and why it still pisses me off, and there's like a little part in it. If you saw that, you like, or if he would have seen the video, he would have fucking done what a normal human being would have done and DM'd me and talk about it. You're like, hey, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. That would have been what a normal person would do. But so I actually will play the part of the clip that's in AJ's video because that's where it is, and he put it in the video. So yeah, I'm just gonna play that real quick. Hey there, Ben. Bet you didn't expect me to be on the screen. I bet you're fucking instantly flaccid right now, but you're just confused on what the fuck's happening. I just want to let you know, you're still my buddy. You're still my friend. I still see you as a good person. You're just, I don't know, having a moment, if you want to say it like that. And we all have our moments and shit like that. Now that I had to really think about this, and I understand we had a tiny conversation, we made amends about this shit, and we like cleared the air about the whole like the podcast moment shit like that, but I really had to fucking think about that. But I do agree, yes, it was a dick move of me to join into the podcast at that time, and I didn't like mean to like make it something bad. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I just wanted to tell a joke, and I'm totally sorry for that shit. But fuck, but that doesn't excuse that fucking it's a little egotistical of you to say that shit, that I'm clout chasing due to the fact that the fucking people who were watching the thing were people who were already subscribed to me, and how there were like fucking 7 people the whole time in that live stream. Again, like, I'm totally sorry for hopping in there at the wrong time where people were giving themselves a platform. But does that excuse the amount of people who were watching the live stream and who was there? No, it fucking does not, and it pisses me off. When you, Trent, and I were crapping on AJ that night during the call that AJ made a video about, I mentioned that to you. We mentioned the whole podcast thing and how I joined at a terrible time. I even told you. I even told you the same thing, and you were like, I understand that, but it's my podcast. I understand it's your podcast and shit like that, but I meant, and I also know that you said fucking 2 out of 3 of your fucking, you get 2 to 3 new viewers on your podcast every time, but some people will not go to your channel to like check it out. It's just how it is. Not a lot of people do that, especially on a live stream where you're only getting people to watch your live stream. And I absolutely don't give a flying condom if it's your podcast. It's a dumb thing to say. The people who are watching the live stream were people who are already subscribed to me, and there wasn't even a lot of people in it, so I don't understand why you're getting so goddamn butthurt about this whole thing. It's dumb, and I hate being called a cloud chaser. I never wanted to be called that at all. I'd rather be called a broken dildo from the 70s than be called a cloud chaser. It's absolutely dumb. And I also saw something where in your video you say you interact with your chat, that's why it's live. The only time I ever see you interact with your chat is if Potato donates to you, and other than that, fucking like, I will say you do interact with your chat if it's not the podcast, but we're strictly talking about the podcast today. When it comes to the podcast, the only time I can recall you actually talking to the chat was when when you, Nerdy, and I were talking about the Call Me Carson situation, and then the guy in the chat was trying to defend him. You were just reading off his messages. That's all I remember. So I wouldn't say you interact with the chat. That's just a flat out lie, pretty much. Hey there, Ben. Bet you didn't expect me to be on the screen. I bet you're fucking instantly flaccid right now, but you're just confused on what the fuck's happening. I just want to let you know, you're still my buddy. You're still my friend. I still see you as a good person. You're just, I don't know, having a moment, if you want to say it like that. And we all have our moments and shit like that. Now that I had to really think about this, and I understand we had a tiny conversation, we made amends about this shit, and we like cleared the air about the whole like the podcast moment shit like that, but I really had to fucking think about that. But I will do agree, yes, it was a dick move of me to join into the podcast at that time, and I didn't like mean to like make it something bad. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I just wanted to tell a joke, and I'm totally sorry for that shit. But fuck, but that doesn't excuse that fucking it's a little egotistical of you to say that shit that I'm clout chasing due to the fact that the fucking people who were watching the thing were people who were already subscribed to me, and how there were like fucking 7 people the whole time in that live stream. Again, like, I'm totally sorry for hopping in there at the wrong time where people were giving themselves a platform. But does that excuse the amount of people who were watching the live stream and who was there? No, it fucking does not, and it pisses me off. When you, Trent, and I were crapping on AJ that night during the call that AJ made a video about, I mentioned that to you. We mentioned the whole podcast thing and how I joined at a terrible time. I even told you. I even told you the same thing, and you were like, I understand that, but it's my podcast. I understand it's your podcast and shit like that, but and I also know that you said fucking 2 out of 3 of your fucking, you get 2 to 3 new viewers on your podcast every time, but some people will not go to your channel to like check it out. It's just how it is. Not a lot of people do that, especially on a live stream where you're only getting 7 people to watch your live stream. And I absolutely don't give a flying condom if it's your podcast. It's a dumb thing to say. The people who are watching the live stream were people who are already subscribed to me, and there wasn't even a lot of people in it, so I don't understand why you're getting so goddamn butthurt about this whole thing. It's dumb, and I hate being called a cloud chaser. I never wanted to be called that at all. I'd rather be called a broken dildo from the 70s than be called a cloud chaser. It's absolutely dumb. And I also saw something where in your video you say you interact with your chat, that's why it's live. The only time I ever see you interact with your chat is if Potato donates to you, and other than that, fucking like, I will say you do interact with your chat if it's not the podcast, but we're strictly talking about the podcast today. When it comes to the podcast, the only time I can recall you actually talking to the chat was when when you, Nerdy, and I were talking about the Call Me Carson situation, and then the guy in the chat was trying to defend him. You were just reading off his messages. That's all I remember. So I wouldn't say you interact with the chat. That's just a flat out lie, pretty much. Hope you liked that, Ben. I also want to add examples of who was watching the podcast streams. Person, Caesar, Potato, Tomato, Rain, and there's more. In the clip where I joined the podcast, I have a tickle in my sack where you possibly edited the part out of where you call me a cloud chaser out of the video. I am highly positive you called me a cloud chaser because I was watching the stream at the same time I joined the thing, so I heard you say that twice to me. AJ was watching it. He was streaming it on a Discord call with General Thickboy, and they both told me that you called me a cloud chaser. And less than an hour ago, I was on a call with Person, and she told me that she can hear an audio cut. So now I'm mammothly positive that you said it, and did that. Now I want to go to the part where it was Ben, Trent, and I in a call with ISO talking about AJ, and you guys had absolutely nothing good to say about him. Even though I was on that cock writing it with you, I was looking on both sides of the argument, like something good and something bad about AJ, and I was also defending ISO and AJ. You two literally implied that she was blind for liking AJ. You didn't say that to her, but that's how you made her feel. Also, what you were pissed off about is that you think AJ saying that the Content King server is shit. That's his opinion. You and Trent were saying shit like there's opinions and then there's just blatant disrespect. But that mainly came from Ben. Ben, I'm gonna use the same sentence you said. You called AJ a disgusting, vile human being, and in your own words, there's opinions and there's just blatant disrespect. And then what you said about AJ is pretty much both. He didn't say that he didn't like the server around you, and it's not disrespectful because it's his opinion, but you two have the thinnest of skins when it comes to saying shit about the server. If someone says that about something bad about my server, then I will respect it and say like the server's bad. Then I respect that opinion and hope to improve it in the future. But I also admit I was the one who told you that AJ didn't like the Content King server. So I pretty much just helped them out right there, AJ. Why did you literally get so pissed off where ISO, Tren, and you were yelling at each other? It was like literally if my mom and dad started fighting. It was loud. A very stupid thing that you and Tren said is that you put blood, sweat, and cum tears into the Content King server. It looks like this.
Fingers in his ass, fingers in his ass. Kanye West, he lies. Fingers in his ass, fingers in his ass, fingers in his ass.
Now I will say that my server is by all means not as good as yours. Mine is like a baby Content King's. I mean, my server is like an actual baby because it's literally 3 weeks old. Mine took me about 2 days to build my server, but it's not even done yet. Now, you see what I did there? I just said that my server is not good, and I'm totally fine with that. But when you say that your server was so hard to make, and it's the best thing ever, you're lying to yourself because it's not perfect, and there's things that are not good about it. Just like my server. Like, what I'm trying to say is, don't get butthurt when someone has an opinion of not liking your server. It's an actual unfucking healthy behavior. Ben, you also say in your newest video that he makes fun of everything about someone. No, he doesn't. He does not do that. At least not all the time. And he doesn't make fun of someone every second. He's not some narcissistic asshole that came from hell to bully people to suicide and make everybody feel worse. He jokes around a lot with everyone, and we don't take it seriously. AJ doesn't pick on people who have personal issues and helps people with them. He helps people with them. That's what I meant. For example, he helped out Person who was having a friendship problems, and he helped her out and he gave her good advice, and I was there for that. That's how I know that happened. Excuse me, my throat's dry. We all make jokes about each other. I made a joke about General asking if he gives hand jobs with his bald head, and he was totally fine. And also, he chose to go fucking bald, you dumb bitch. I will admit another thing. Uh, fuck, where am I? I was the one who brought up that he makes fun of everyone. That makes fun of everyone. I was just being a fucking idiot, and I wasn't thinking. And if AJ, if you aren't watching, I am sorry, bud. AJ also claims that it's sort of true, and he's trying to work on that. But it's also hard that it's still like. But it's also hard, but it's still great that he's like trying to improve on like what he says to individuals around him. But you made a terrible comparison with a fat guy refusing to work out. That's a terrible comparison. He's not going to change overnight. It's like me if I got taller. I'm not just gonna wake up 7 inches taller overnight off some necromancy spell from Skyrim or some shit like that. I don't know. Sorry to hit you with a cold cum shot, but that's just how it is, bud. Sorry. On your video responding to AJ, you tried providing an image of AJ smoking a tampon, and you showed his face, knowing full well that he doesn't want his face on YouTube, so you're just an asshole for that, man. I did say that it was gross, and yet again, sorry AJ, but now I really don't know what to think, except those tampons weren't used. He didn't know he had tampons, he just stumbled across them in his house, or what I mean, well, yeah, he just stumbled across them. He didn't smoke a used tampon, and what the fuck is the man going to do with their ex's tampons to remember them? Or why would they do that? That's a little screwed up, dude. You also said that he could keep a picture of to remember like his ex and shit like that, but that's not really a healthy behavior. Or he can like keep a image of his ex, yes, but that's not really like a healthy behavior. Like I said, I guess it depends on if you're still like friends with them, but most of the time it isn't the best idea. But the better thing you should have done with the image of AJ smoking a tampon is either crop out his face or blur it, because I want to reiterate that you know full well that, you still do, you know full well that he doesn't want his face on camera nor on the internet. And look what I did. I blurred out his face, or actually I just put something over his face. So take this as a lesson learned. Blur people's faces if they don't want their faces on the internet. Okay, bud? Great. This is like if I was a Vanoss crew member and had a problem with H2O Delirious and decided to put his face on the internet. It's a very despicable thing to do, because I would know full well that everybody would know full well what he looked like, and I would know full well that he wants no one to see his face. It's pretty much this whole situation. Well, it's exactly this whole situation with AJ's face. When you made your response video, there were a lot of people supporting you and giving you a like on your video, but my biggest problem is that a high majority of people don't even know what the fuck was happening, and they support you just to support you when there's no context of what they're hearing and looking at, because they don't even understand what they're watching and hearing. A lot of them didn't even bother to go watch AJ's video and hear his perspective. They were just and they were insulting him in the chat. There were people also going to his video to dislike bomb him. I'm only aware of one person who watched your video, then went to AJ's video and actually listened and shit like that. Now Trent, if you are watching, let's talk about you for a second. You were having a massive war with AJ in his comment section in the first video. You were both going at it with each other, and you were the one who also started that shit. But I will admit, and AJ can admit this too, he was possibly being equally as toxic as you were, Trent, but it was still dumb of you to do that and start that shit. Fucking hell, yeah. Now here's something that really pissed me off a little bit towards the end of the video. Ben, I'm talking to you this time. General Thickboy commented on your video saying, "I'm Benji, more like I'm pussy." Now, I want to say something real quick, which, by the way, that was actually a joke. That was his choice to put it in his comment section. He was influenced by a joke. That was his actions that did it, and I'm sorry for that and shit like that. And him and I talked about it, and he told me it was a joke. So it was truly a misunderstanding. So Jordan, I'm sorry, but then you, Ben, took this too far. Listen to this shit that he says.
And I like how General Thickboy said, "I'm Benji, more like I'm pussy." So I'm the pussy for trying to make amends with him in the comments and then calling him up and apologizing to him first. I'm the pussy, But you're too afraid. You said that you were too afraid to join a Discord voice chat because of your social anxiety. And I'm not trying to bash mental health. I deal with social anxiety for the longest time, even now. But don't call me a pussy when you're too afraid to do something as simple as that.
Ben, are you fucking kidding me? What on God's green earth thought it would be a great idea for you to make fun of his mental health? You're a dumbass, Ben, really. That is not even a good criticism for you to call him a pussy because of his social anxiety about not joining a Discord call. Someone would probably argue, well, if they just accept that as a joke, then it's not bad. It's like if someone accepts racist or homophobic jokes, then it's totally fine. No. You made it seem like it wasn't a joke, and nobody should be joking around about somebody's mental health. You said you weren't trying to make fun of his mental health, but you still did, you dumb shitfuck. And I don't care if you also have social anxiety as well. It's not right to call him a pussy because of his mental health. Just because you have it doesn't give you the right to say it to him. And also, his feelings were hurt because of that, just letting you know, asshole. I also want to add to the part where AJ said that you need to fix up your content. You mentioned your meditation videos and the reason why you make those videos, and they're meant for you to cope with your loss of your father. Like, I totally get it, and I'm sorry for your loss, and I feel your pain. I totally get your pain, but that doesn't mean you make a point with your dead father for your video, or you shouldn't be making content out of him. It's not right, and I would never do that. Even before I deleted my videos, I made an anti-maskers are bad video, and I mentioned my dad. I used my dad for a point in my video. I did it, I admit, and I regret it. Excuse me. But don't make your dead family members a point in your video. Also, AJ was giving you constructive criticism about how you should have commentary on your main channel and whatever you want to do on your second channel, like reaction. Personally, I don't really care what you do. I'm only having this channel, and I'm sort of going to do pretty much everything on this channel, but I'll mainly do commentary on Algae Party. Now I want to bring you the most important part of this like little anime fucking story shit, or the most important part of this video, the manipulation of ISO. She would be in private calls, and one day she was playing a game, or Minecraft I guess. She was in a call with you while you were editing a video. That's where the shit talking started, and you'd say like, oh, he's being toxic on the server, he makes jokes about America, which pisses Trent and I off. She would have conversation with you, and you would go back and forth, and you'd make excuses on why you disliked AJ, and she didn't, and she said don't like take him seriously, and he's a sarcastic person, and you'd still make more excuses to not like AJ. Then there was the night where we had the really big voice chat, blood, titties, cum all over the place, and then the next day AJ made a video about the situation when AJ and I became cool with each other over that. Became cool with each other over that night. We became friends again. ISO on the call, she burst into tears. And real quick, Ben, I was there for that when it happened. I'm not making shit up. She can confirm it as well. AJ can, person. It was a really sad moment. Now, knowing this, and as her friend, how the fuck do you feel about that, dude? She is your friend, and the reason why she fucking had a meltdown on our call was because of you. How do you feel, Ben? But anyways, Trent and I apologized to her, and she found both of those apologies genuine. But when it came to your apology, Ben, it wasn't good. And I've also seen the apology, and it sucks asshole. She feels manipulated by you, Ben, from this apology because you were being an egocentric asshole, egotistical, whatever, and you only cared about yourself. You used a shit ton of I pronouns and possibly lied about making amends with AJ. Fuck it. I'm just gonna play ISO's part with a clip from AJ's video. Hope you learned something from this, buddy.
I've been avoiding commenting on this situation as I didn't want to worsen things, but since Benji made a video not addressing everything and essentially manipulating his subs in a similar way he manipulated me, I think it's time for me, the main person in the middle who knows both sides, to cut the bullshit. First off, Benji, I hope you know just how angry I feel, not only because you manipulated me after your apology, which in reality was you victimizing yourself under the guise of an apology followed by an admission of twisting what A.J said. How is this victimization and the manipulation, you might ask? Well, let's take a look at these DMs. When you apologized, you still somehow made it about yourself by saying, "I just want to move on with this." It's always an I, and you made it about yourself. After I pointed out how you twisted and taken A.J's words out of context, you admitted to it but then seemed to justify it by saying that A.J crossed a line and then tried to manipulate me by saying he twisted some things, even though you literally told me everything you don't like about him, which was all about him being toxic on Discord and just being annoying. I will admit that at the time I was mostly angry at Dennis Midwest, but he already apologized to me and now I have no hard feelings against him. I initially thought you were genuine for a bit because I thought you were really over it and wanted to end it. Note my response. It was only after A.J told me what you both talked about that I realized it was kind of a crock of shit, and then after showing the DMs to my boyfriend that he agreed that your apology was self-centered and manipulative. At least when Dennis Midwest and Algae Party apologized to me, it felt genuine while yours felt bitter and hollow. Notice how I said in that DM I said that I still respect you to an extent? Well, since that apology it's almost gone after how far you took it. I even warned you in VC with Algae Party and Dennis Midwest that you're taking it too far, and you both disagreed and said no. And before you deny it, Algae was there and he can agree that was said. I have been nothing but at least try to be caring, kind and understanding, and the thanks I get from you is being manipulated, and caused a ton of emotional distress trying to get both sides to grow the fuck up and to get you to swallow your stubborn pride and admit what you're doing has gone way too far. Not only this, you have been incredibly entitled and disrespectful by refusing to watch A.J's video until you were encouraged to, but encouraged others to watch your video. Now, you claim it's because you want to move on, but if that was the case, why couldn't you just be respectful anyway? Watch it and say something like, "Hey, even though I still stand by what I feel about you, I'm sorry for twisting what I said and overall being an egotistical dick about how I handled it." But that never crossed your mind now, did it? No. Instead you chose to keep it going so you can make yourself to be right. The amount of emotional pain you have caused me and others is not worth trying to be right over, and it just goes to show how much you don't care about anything else other than what you feel and about being right. I even expressed how hurt and used I feel and it seemed like you disregarded it. Also, you calling A.J vile, disgusting human being when he has been nothing but a great friend to me and to others is disgusting. It's one thing to have an opinion and not like people. It's another to pass judgment on someone like that with no real reason to not like him. So just admit that you were being a dickhead and apologize to A.J for taking it too far. You are welcome to have your opinions on him, which I can't change, but don't you dare make him out to be a bad person just because you don't like him. So with that being said, for the whole manipulation to me and your subs, fuck you to the moon. But really though, I just want you to know how I feel as one of the main people caught in the middle who knows both sides. I really hope for the sake of others feeling caught up in it that it really genuinely stops, and that with my statement I can help put a permanent end to it.
Now all I have to say is, Ben, what's your excuse? You manipulated ISO and your subscribers, and you just tried brushing the situation under the rug. So you can just get away with this, dude. And now, like, after that little clip, we know what kind of person you are now. So, after that, there really is no excuse, dude. I also want to go back to Ben's comment on AJ's video and call him out for making a shit apology and claiming your your apology is an apology, but when in reality it wasn't an apology. You just said this, fucking, I could make a video explaining my side of everything, but I just kind of want to put an end to this whole situation to rest. You're not a perfect human being, and neither am I. I have my flaws, and you have yours. Some people don't agree or see eye to eye on things, and that's just one of those situations. Let's just agree to disagree and move forward and not make this public. Hopefully you're mature enough to understand my side and we can, excuse me, just put an end behind this. But you didn't say I'm sorry, nor I apologize in your comment. This looks like you're just trying to brush the situation under the carpet and just tiptoe around this problem. I feel like you made this apology so you didn't look like the fucking bad guy. I don't like your apology, dude. I don't find this genuine at all, you dumb shit. I just want to say after this video, I'm not taking influence from AJ. He didn't tell me to make this video, not at all. I just want to give out my point and my perspective on this shithole. So, Ben, you were someone I used to call a friend, but you're just a terrible, egotistical butthole. You manipulated my friends and your subscribers, and now I have to wonder if I'm being manipulated by you. You only care about yourself and your pride. You make excuses about dumb things. For example, AJ joking around about our country. You're a liar and you just want to brush problems away, and if you're in the wrong, you try to get away from the situation, and you've been handling this situation the worst. The podcast thing is absolutely dumb, and it was something you shouldn't have a fucking Winter Soldier episode about. And speaking of those podcasts, I'm no longer hopping on any more episodes for the podcast. Also, most of your friends don't even like you anymore. So you fucked up hard on your part, dude. You lost my respect, Ben. But I do wish you the best of luck. Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.